Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My name's Keir Smith and for today's video I'm going to be talking you through my top 10 favourite albums by Bob Dylan. I love Bob Dylan for many reasons. Of course his lyrics and his wordplay are endlessly fascinating, and for his strong sense of melody and the way he weaves these melodies around the stories that he tells. For me, he doesn't get enough credit for that. His enigmatic and elusive nature certainly appeals to me. His artistic vision, he's one of a kind. He's a truly unique, witty and clever writer with great depth. I'm 44 years old now, and thinking back, I would have been about 16 when I bought my first Bob Dylan album, a tape cassette copy of the Freewheelin Bob Dylan. And since then, it's been an absolute treasure trove, an endless source of interest and wonder. So many great songs, so many great albums. And this video is largely inspired by fellow YouTuber Americana Sam. He posted a video over a month or so ago now where he shared his top 10 favourite Bob Dylan albums. That was both interesting and enjoyable. He's a huge fan, and I'll put a link in the description box below for Sam's video should you want to see it. His list was different to mine, so I recommend it. Anyhow, here's my top 10 favourite Bob Dylan albums, going from number 10 down to number 1, least favourite to favourite, and I'll also choose 3 of my favourite songs from each of these albums along the way too. Coming in at number 10 is Another Side of Bob Dylan from 1964, and I remember buying this very early on when buying up all of Bob Dylan's albums through the years. I bought the Freewheelin Bob Dylan first, as I said. I think Blonde on Blonde was second, and then this. And I remember playing it a lot, and I thought then, and I still think it now, the quality of songwriting on this album, and this was only his 4th album, is at a really high level. And I always thought to myself that this album was effectively the folk songbook of the 1960s, because so many of the songs on this album were covered by so many artists, from Joan Baez to Johnny Cash to The Byrds. And why wouldn't you cover songs like All I Really Want to Do, Chimes of Freedom, My Back Pages, It Ain't Me Babe. And this is a true solo album. It's all Dylan, acoustic guitar, harmonica, little bit of piano on Black Crow Blues. That's a really good song. Elsewhere you've got Spanish Harlem Incident, To Ramona and Ballad in Plain D. That's a lovely song. And I always like that lyric, myself for what I did, I cannot be excused. The changes I was going through can't even be used. To choose 3 favourite songs from this album, I'll go with Spanish Harlem Incident, My Back Pages definitely, and It Ain't Me Babe. It's my number 10 choice here, but I've definitely got a soft spot for this album. It's a strong album, a consistent album, and home to some really great Bob Dylan songs. At number 9, I've got 1979's Slow Train Coming album, and this followed Bob Dylan's conversion to Christianity, and this was the first of 3 religious themed albums. And there's lots of biblical references and imagery in the lyrics here, and this album was a big hit for Dylan. I think it was number 2 in the UK and number 3 in the US. I like this one a lot too, and again I find it to be a very consistent Dylan album. The opening track, Gotta Serve Somebody, was also a minor hit. Precious Angel and I Believe in You are both really nice. Slow Train is excellent. Gonna Change My Way of Thinking is very good. And I must say, I really like the inclusion of brass on this album. That gives these songs real punch. And I really like what I think is a very strong finish to this album, starting with the excellent When You're Gonna Wake Up. Counterfeit philosophies have polluted all of your thoughts. What a great line. Man Gave Name to All the Animals is adorable. I love that song. And the final track is really nice too, When He Returns. And to choose 3 favourites from this album, again it's tough, but I'm going to go with Slow Train, When You're Gonna Wake Up definitely, and Man Gave Name to All the Animals. So yeah, at number 9, another very good Bob Dylan album, Slow Train Coming. And I once read that this was Nick Cave's favourite Bob Dylan album, so there you go. Man gave name to all the animals in the beginning. At number 8, I'm going to go with 1983's Infidels album, and this sees Bob Dylan teaming up with Mark Knopfler, as he did on the aforementioned Slow Train Coming album. I think Mark Knopfler helped to produce this album, as well as play some lovely guitar across the album. And Infidels was largely seen as a return to form for Dylan, coming after those 3 religious-themed albums. It's my number 8 choice here, but I'm one of those Dylan fans that's forever championing Infidels. I'm always pointing out to people its greatness. In truth, I think that this album is half great, half good to very good, but it makes for a really enjoyable listen. And it is home to what I often say is my favourite Bob Dylan song. If I had to say it, hand on heart, I'd go with this, the opening track on the album, the amazing Joker Man. Not quite as great, but almost is the next track, Sweetheart Like You. I love that song. License to Kill is brilliant. I and I, Don't Fall Apart on Me Tonight, both very good. Man of Peace Chips Along Happily, I really like that. Neighbourhood Bully, Union Sundown, both good rockers. So there you go, 8 songs on the album, not a bad one there. And of course we have that bone of contention here with Dylan fans. Why was Blind Willie McTell left off this album? No doubt it's a really good song and could have easily fit on this album, but I rather like Infidels just as it is. I do have 3 standout favourite songs on this album though, in order to Joker Man, Sweetheart Like You and License to Kill. Top tier Dylan stuff. And how about this for a lyric from License to Kill? Now he's hell bent for destruction, he's afraid and confused, and his brain has been mismanaged with great skill. All he believes are his eyes, and his eyes, they just tell him lies. He's bloody good. It could have been a spot higher, but it's my number 8 choice here. I'm a big fan of Infidels. Now this one may be a little bit low for some, but I'm going to go with it. At number 7, I've chosen Bringing It All Back Home from 1965. Of course, this is the album where Dylan goes electric and faced the wrath of his folk-loving fans. Calm down, fans, it's not all electric. But about half of it is. But I rather like the fact that Dylan plugged in and turned up the volume, because we get great songs like Subterranean Homesick Blues and the excellent Maggie's Farm. Well, I try my best to be just like I am, but everybody wants you to be just like them. They say, sing while you slave, and I just get bored. Elsewhere, She Belongs to Me, Love Minus Zero, I really like both of them. Outlaw Blues, On the Road Again, they both rock, both very good. But arguably, Dylan's best work comes on the acoustic side. Mr. Tambourine Man, Gates of Eden, It's Alright Ma, I'm Only Bleeding, and the closing track, the brilliant It's All Over Now Baby Blue. They are 4 serious pieces of work. No doubt about it, it's a fantastic album, and already I'm starting to feel bad that I've got it as low as number 7. And to choose 3 favourite songs from this album, I'm going to go with Subterranean Homesick Blues, It's Alright Ma, I'm Only Bleeding, which lyrically I think it's one of Dylan's best songs, and the closing track, It's All Over Now Baby Blue. I can only imagine what it must have been like hearing this album for the first time back in 1965. I bet it blew people's socks off. My number 7, Bringing It All Back Home. At number 6, I'm going to go with 1989's Oh Mercy album, which saw Dylan team up with the hot producer of the day, Daniel Lanois, with the instruction that these songs were to be recorded at night. And this album is largely quiet. It has a late night, moody, atmospheric feel to it. There's lots of space and echo. Really nice production from Daniel Lanois. His production really enhances these songs for me, and I'd go as far to say that this is Dylan's best produced album. Dylan bites on songs like Political World and Everything Is Broken, which are 2 very good soft rockers. Call me a softie, but I'm a real sucker for the ballads on this album. Where Teardrops Fall, Ring Them Bells, Most of the Time, and the closing track, Shooting Star. What Good Am I is a really nice song. Disease of Conceit, very good. Man in a Long Black Coat. Again, this album is very consistent. I like all 10 songs. But to choose 3 favourites, I'm going to go with Where Teardrops Fall. I love that saxophone solo at the end of that song. Ring Them Bells and Most of the Time. I'm a big fan. This is a fine Bob Dylan album. My number 6 is 1989's Oh Mercy. Coming in at number 5 is 1969's Nashville Skyline. Dylan went to Nashville, Tennessee to record this quiet masterpiece. An album that clocks in at under 27 minutes. Short and sweet, that's the way to do it. This isn't as detailed or as complex, musically or lyrically, as Dylan's previous works, but that's what's great about it. There's no sneering sarcasm on these songs. This is the sound of a man who's happy with his lot. And for me, this album highlights how good Dylan's melodies are. These songs are delightfully catchy. Dylan revisits Girl from the North Country, the opening song on the album. Of course, he did that on the freewheelin Bob Dylan album, but this one's much better. A beautiful ballad with Johnny Cash. And we get a rare instrumental on the following track, Nashville Skyline Rag, which is a up-tempo, skiffle type arrangement, a real toe tapper. But I really like the good feeling that comes from these up-tempo catchy songs like Country Pie, Peggy Day and To Be Alone With You. They are so good. And the ballads here are lovely. In particular, the big hit single, Lay Lady Lay and I Threw It All Away. And Dylan captures the mood and feel of these songs so well as he goes all out with that country crooner vocal. One More Night is really nice, as is Tell Me That It Isn't True and the closing track, the delightful Tonight I'll Be Staying Here With You. It's all so very good. And there's been a lot of talk about Dylan's vocal on this album, and there was talk that he'd temporarily quit smoking and that's why his voice sounded the way it did. But I'm not so sure about that. I think it's more so Dylan getting into the character of the song and adopting that country style croon. And to choose 3 favourite songs from this album, I'm going to go with tracks 3, 4 and 5. To Be Alone With You, I Threw It All Away and Peggy Day. This is a wonderful album. My number 5 choice, Nashville Skyline. Dylan never sounded so happy. At number 4 is Desire from 1976. Most definitely more complex and more detailed musically and lyrically. This is a fantastic album and home to some of Dylan's very best storytelling songs. And employing the wonderful vocal talents of Emmylou Harris and Ronnie Blakely was a masterstroke. Their vocals add so much to the character of these songs. As does Scarlett Rivera, whose wonderful violin playing really enhances the musicality of these songs. The album opener, Hurricane, I would put there right up there among Dylan's very best songs, written of course about the boxer Reuben Hurricane Carter. The storytelling, the wordplay, the phrasing, it's absolutely top notch. Now, not as good as Hurricane, but the song Joey is another epic piece of storytelling, largely believed to have been written about gangster Joey Gallo. Black Diamond Bay has become one of my favourite songs. I still haven't quite worked out just what all of that is about, but a brilliant song it is. Her passport shows a face of another time and place. She looks nothing like that, and all the remnants of her recent past are scattered in the wild wind. I love Isis, Mozambique, Romance in Durango, love that. One More Cup of Coffee is very good. Oh Sister, that's a beauty as well. Oh sister, am I not a brother to you, and one deserving of affection? I've said that to my sister on more than one occasion. And the closing track, Sarah. Oh, that song is painfully beautiful. It's so affecting. Written, of course, about his wife Sarah, who he would go on to divorce. I love all of this album, but I do have, again, 3 clear favourites here with Hurricane, Black Diamond Bay and Sarah. It's a stunning album. Stylistically, musically, lyrically, the storytelling is incredible. It's a masterpiece. Desire, my number 4 choice. At number 3, I'm going to go with Highway 61 Revisited from 1965, an album that showed the world that music could be a serious art form. The album opens with the incredible Like a Rolling Stone, a single in 1965 that runs at over 6 minutes long, unheard of, and it closes with a track that runs at over 11 minutes long, the magnificent Desolation Row. This really broke the mould in how to make a long playing record. There really isn't anything quite like the quirky blues rock musical stylings of the songs on this album. The arrangements are so clever and interesting. I do like the romp and stomp of Tombstone Blues and the title track, but to be honest with you, they do pale in significance when compared to the other delights on this album, because the quality of these songs are so high. It takes a lot to laugh, it takes a train to cry. Great title, great song, I absolutely love that. And when Dylan sings Can't Buy a Thrill, that inspired the name of the debut album by Steely Dan. I love the piano playing on Approximately Queen Jane from a Buick 6 is really good, just like Tom Thumb's Blues, love that. And I love the mad lyrics on Ballad of a Thin Man, which for me would be another top tier Bob Dylan song. And Desolation Row, wow, a masterpiece to say the very least. In comes Romeo, he's moaning, you belong to me I believe, and someone says, you're in the wrong place my friend, you better leave. And is Desolation Row a good place or a bad place? I still haven't worked it out. An endlessly fascinating song, if ever there was one. My brother Liam's got into this album in a big way over the last year or so. He's said to me a few times how much he's enjoyed listening to this album. He's just turned 48 years old. I don't know what took him so long, but I'm glad he's joined the party. For these final 3 albums, I'm going to put up the track list in here to show you the quality of songs available on each of these albums. And so my 3 favourites from Highway 61 Revisited are Ballad of a Thin Man, Queen Jane Approximately, and Desolation Row. Had to be. These 9 songs that make up this undoubted masterpiece. The ideas, the lyrics, the musicality. It's absolutely mind-blowing. At number 3, it could well have been higher, but number 3 it is. Highway 61 Revisited. An absolute classic. At number 2, even better than Highway 61 Revisited, I'll say so, with Blood on the Tracks from 1975. If Dylan sounded positively happy on Nashville Skyline, then it was all falling apart here. These songs are so raw and personal, but as a listener, it feels like you really got close to Dylan here, or as close as you'll ever get. I think as a Dylan fan, if you love this album, then you share a deep connection with these songs. 10 tracks here, each one of them is absolutely brilliant. I used to work with a guy called Ian many years ago. He was a Dylan fanatic and he loves Blood on the Tracks. I think it was his favourite album, if I'm not mistaken, but he said to me that Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts has no place on this album. I couldn't disagree more. For me, that song serves as a perfect light relief among the more personal songs on this album. And honestly, if I said that Joker Man was my favourite Bob Dylan song, then Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts sits proudly at number 2. I'm not joking. For me, Dylan's very best storytelling song. And I have no idea why this lyric stands out so much, but every time I hear it, I'm moved in a really odd way and I can't explain it, and I don't think I ever will. Be careful not to touch the wall. There's a brand new coat of paint. I'm glad to see you're still alive. You're looking like a saint. Any idea? Please leave a comment down below if you've got any thoughts on that particular lyric, because I don't know. And doesn't Dylan write a great ballad? You're a big girl now, beautiful. If you see her, say hello. Heartbreaking. And the closing track, Buckets of Rain. Superb. With some seriously stylish acoustic guitar playing from Dylan too. That's a great lick. I really like the jaunty feel of You're Gonna Make Me Lonesome When You Go and the rustic blues of Meet Me in the Morning. Idiot Wind is an amazing song and a profound Dylan song lyrically. Tangled Up in Blue, Shelter from the Storm. Really catchy and singable Dylan songs. To choose 3 favourites from Blood on the Tracks, this is slowly becoming a cruel game. But reluctantly, I'll go with You're a Big Girl Now, Lily Rosemary and the Jack of Hearts, and I'm going to go with Buckets of Rain. Blood on the Tracks is absolute perfection, one of the greatest albums of all time, and it was my favourite Dylan album for many a year. There's just one more that I seem to like a little bit more these days. But Blood on the Tracks is so good that it could easily dislodge it again someday. But my number 1, my favourite Bob Dylan album, as it has been for 4 or 5 years now, is the magnificent Blonde on Blonde from 1966. There is so much that I could say about this album, and I'll get around to it one day. I'll do a video on Blonde, talking about my love for it, what it means to me, why I think it's so good, etc. But for now, we'll quickly go over it. It's incredible, isn't it? This plethora of ideas, songs, the lyrical content, the instrumentation, the haphazard feel of it. Yet, for me, it hangs together as this incredible, cohesive body of work from a time and place that Dylan would never get back to, nor did he want to. This was 1966. This was Bob Dylan at the peak of his songwriting powers. This album is beyond criticism for me, and I paused a minute ago because I thought to myself, honestly, for the first time ever, what's my least favourite song on this album? Because again, 14 songs here, an album that runs at over 70 minutes long. I love every second of this album. But to answer my own question, my least favourite song, Leopard Skin Pillbox Hat, which I love. It's so funny, so catchy, a really good song. There's quiet gems on this album that I love so much, like Fourth Time Around. What a lovely melody that is. And I really love that lyric. I stood in the dirt where everyone walked. I love the rocking tempo of Absolutely Sweet Marie and obviously Five Believers, both great songs. I remember when I first bought the album and Absolutely Sweet Marie was one of my favourite songs, although I do think that that was influenced by the fact that I'd heard George Harrison doing it live, I think at a Bob Dylan tribute concert. I Want You is a brilliant melody, so catchy, I love that song. A top 10 Bob Dylan song for me, no question. Just Like a Woman is obviously gorgeous. Most Likely You Go Your Way and I'll Go Mine. Do 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 do. Brilliant. Pleasure My Time is good. One of Us Must Know, Sooner or Later, really like that. Temporary Like Achilles, another quiet gem, a really good song. Rainy Day Women, numbers 12 and 35 no less, a great album opener, so funny. Everybody Must Get Stoned. Everybody. Visions of Johanna is another Dylan masterpiece. I remember reading in, I think it was Q magazine many years ago, that Bono of U2 singled that one out as one of his favourite Dylan songs too. Little Boy Lost, he takes himself so seriously. I was listening to this album when I was 16, 17, starting to become a little bit moody, and I always thought, yeah, that lyric's about me. Of course it wasn't, but I wanted it to be. He brags of his misery. He likes to live dangerously. I just love those lyrics. And of course the brilliant Stuck Inside a Mobile with the Memphis Blues again, another top 10 Bob Dylan song for me. The propulsive rhythm of that song, it's a joy. Looking at my CD copy there, tracks 5 and 6, I Want You followed by Stuck Inside a Mobile with the Memphis Blues again, the highlight of the album, and the closing track, the stirring, epic beauty of Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands. Stunning. The arrangements of these songs, the musicality between the players in the band on these songs, on this album, it's stunning. They make every song on this album so clever, so interesting, and a musical treat. And my 3 favourites from Blonde on Blonde, 2 of them were, I wouldn't say easy to pick, but I love them so much, I have to choose them. I Want You and Stuck Inside a Mobile with the Memphis Blues again. And the third one, I'm going to go with Visions of Johanna. Blonde on Blonde ticks so many boxes for me, and I'm always one to champion these sprawling, eclectic albums that maybe test the patience of some listeners. But every time I listen to Blonde on Blonde, it throws up something new for me. It's endlessly fascinating to me. As I say, for me, this is Dylan at his absolute best. So there you go, that was my top 10 favourite Bob Dylan albums. A quick recap for you. At number 10, I went with 1964's Another Side of Bob Dylan. At number 9, I went with 1979's Slow Train Coming. At number 8, I went with 1983's Infidels. At number 7, I went with Bringing It All Back Home from 1965. And at number 6, I went with 1989's Oh Mercy. At number 5, I went with 1969's Nashville Skyline. At number 4, I went with 1976's Desire. At number 3, 1965's Highway 61 Revisited. At number 2, 1975's Blood on the Tracks. And my favourite Bob Dylan album, Blonde on Blonde from 1966. All 10 of those albums have delighted my ears for years and years. They hold such a special place in my heart. But what do you think to my choices? Do you agree? Disagree? 2 lists are rarely the same, so please leave any thoughts and comments down below. But before you leave those comments, I will say this. I agree. It is absolutely crazy to have left off John Wesley Harding. I didn't want to leave off Time Out of Mind. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you for my next video sometime soon. Until then, bye for now.